Okay, hopefully I've got that working. Just need to make sure everything's where I need it to be at the moment on this program known as OBS. So Odin's telling me he can hear me. Grimsy is saying he can hear me. So hi, folks. Just a heads up, there may now not be a Fright Night Friday tomorrow. Or at least not with me. Can't say for Grimsy. I don't know if you're going to still do your Fright Night, Grimsy. Only reason I say this is we were going to do Demonologist's new map. Me and Ojin tried it out today to test to see if things are working ahead of stream. The new map won't even load for us. In fact, it throws up errors for Ojin and crashes my game for me. So we've discovered we can't use that. We can play other maps, but they're a bit laggy. So I'm not sure if I'll be doing it tomorrow. If the other guys want to do their Fright Night Fridays, please do pop over to their channels. Yeah. As Ojin says, it was really laggy in Ghost Rooms. We were doing the hospital map, which is one of the older maps, and it was, I believe, a Huntu, was it?
Huntu.
Yeah. So we had a Huntu in hospital, and whenever ghost events were kicking off or it was trying to give us proof, it would lag badly. At one point, I thought it was my mouse losing battery because as you know, I've gone now wireless mouse and keyboard, so I can kick back away from the computer a bit when I'm gaming, and you get a more relaxed atmosphere. Turned out it wasn't. The mouse was fine everywhere else, but when the ghost events were happening. So, yeah, the game was a bit. Yes, Abandoned House was very unplayable. It lagged as soon as we got in the front door. So I'm not sure if we'll be doing it because the whole point was to review the new map of Demonologist, and that's if the game's unplayable, we can't really review it. So that's our premature review, I'm afraid. It's currently unplayable. I do understand that they are trying to fix it. I have been over onto their Discord. They have said they're trying to fix it, but obviously it's going to take time because they're not 100% quite sure what the problem is, as it is with tech. So I wish the guys at Clockwork Games the best of luck, because I know it can be a bit of a headache, because it can be sometimes just one letter or a brackets bar out of place that causes the whole thing to go crazy. So good luck, guys. I hope you do get it fixed, because I do like to play your games. Okay, so we're continuing on with Horus Heresy today. So as you may remember, we had to fix this guy. Bring him up to the camera. We had to fix him. I have repaired his sword a bit. It's not really where I wanted his sword to be positioned. He's not fully repaired, so I'm still going to be doing some work on him off stream. He still feels a bit soft for some reason. I don't know why he feels soft. I've never really had a mini that feels soft, so if anyone's ever had a mini that feels soft, can you let me know what that actually means with these? Do I need to be sending him back or what? But I was going to do some green stuff around where it broke to reinforce that, and then remodel. I still can't believe how he feels like half-dried clay. It's the best way to describe him. He's really soft, but not so soft that you can move him, but you can. It's like a tacky soft. And I know it's not the stuff I've sprayed him with, because I've sprayed this with the same stuff, and that is not tacky. So I'm not really sure what's going on with him. It's a shame because he was a fun model to paint, but he was full of air bubbles, and his resin, his fine cast resin, is pretty brittle. I believe that's Corswain. Yeah, so this is Corswain, the Paladin. So if anyone wants a heads up with that, especially Games Workshop, if you're listening, Splash Forge World, even though I know you're the same company, Corswain, I don't know if it's a batch problem or if it's you guys still being lazy with the resin. I know your history, guys. Come on. I'm old enough to have been around from when you first got created. So we're going to try and do some repair with him off stream. He needs a little bit of finishing up, just some highlights. This is the Moritat we were working on yesterday, so just a few more highlights and he should be done. Just needs varnishing. And we're going to actually start on the Leviathan. Now, you actually saw me assemble this in the YouTube video, so sorry, I'm still used to looking up there for the camera. The camera's here. So we're going to finish him off. Trying to get it in both cameras at the same time so you can see him here and here, here. There we go. I'm going to finish him off and start getting him painted up. He's in a black coloration, I believe. And we're going to try and finish up those bases as well. We're also going to try and start work on our first Praetor. So we will see how that goes. Keep in mind, these are Ojin's armies, not mine. I like Spaceballs and thingy. So here we are. That's the Dreadnought. Although I don't think it's that colour scheme we're using, is it? No.
The white there. The white down there. But it's that.
So you want...
Instead of where the checkered is, it's the white patch.
So he wants this version of him. Hopefully I won't drop the book while I'm doing this. There we go. There. So he wants that version. I'm still seeing red checks.
I said without the red checks.
So we're not doing the red checks.
See there? It's white.
We're just doing plain white with the logo.
Plain white, yeah.
Good, because I hate checks.
Yeah.
Right. Plop that there. So I've got a reference tool. Ow. I've got escape of the brushes now. Landing on me toesies. It's a dry brush that's escaped that went under the chair. Everyone else is accounted for. This is my red maple set. The most used is this one, the number 1. Probably going to need some more ones. Oh no! I put that on so carefully. We have splayed bristles.
What's going to happen at some point?
The drama of paintbrushes, folks. The drama of paintbrushes. Haven't even started painting yet, and already I'm having to fix a paintbrush that is now so splayed that there's no returning that to its original form. Let's get these cut off so they're out of the way. The rest of it is salvageable, but when they bend backwards, there's no salvaging it. Let's just get that a little bit wet. Oh, I knew I left something out of reach. Right, let's get the sponge. Give it a little twist to get them back trained. There we go. So it's now back to its proper brush shape. Ow. I'm going to be turning that down. But yes, that is how I felt just now. Having discovered the brush in its splayed state. So I'm going to see who does that, because unfortunately my multi-chat feed that I see does not tell me this. Who did the scream in my ear roll, so I know who to annoy later. Lone Wolf. Thank you, Lone Wolf. Thank you for making me go deaf in my left ear and placing in a sound alert how I felt at finding it all splayed. So I'm going to go put my background music on that hopefully you guys will not be hearing. Nothing against music on stream, especially for painting streams. But I will be uploading this to YouTube later, so I will be putting my own custom music onto it. Ooh, motivation for an hour. That should keep me going. Loop it. There we go. Oh, I've got a message as well. Oh, okay. Right. Just notify me the app's going to be updated soon. So, oof. Right, where's my sound alerts? Oh my goodness, no wonder I'm going deaf. They're up at like 300%. Wow. Ouch. Now I know why I have tinnitus. Okay, so the beauty of doing painting streams as well is I don't have to have everything miniaturized. So right in front of me, I can see my OBS and where it's going wrong. I actually need a bigger brush for this. So the fine brush kit for this guy, not big enough. We'll put them over there. I'm actually going to have to use an old Citadel dry brush. But we don't want it dry, so give it a little bit of a soak. Prop that across the glass so that I've got some space. Okay, that's just glue. One painting handle. I will be getting back to these, don't worry. I've got to get them ready for their second layer of dry brushing. Put them there. Put those there. Placement brushes there. Now I'm looking for Abaddon Black. I have placed it somewhere in my paint set. Because I've got a book right next to me, I can't reach my paint set. Now the only problem with my office being the sofa to the side of me. Everything falls on me. Right, so we know he's black and silver. We'll get his base coat done first. Then we'll worry about colour schemes. Right. Yoink the paint set over. Throw that lot over there. I know Abaddon Black's in here somewhere. There it is. Oh, good. It's got paint agitators in, so even if it has got the consistency of clotted cream, didn't quite hear it. That wasn't loud enough. Try it with headsets, Lone Wolf. Try it with headsets. You're mean. Right. We've got the wet palette over there. Bits and pieces here by the camera. We will get back onto them so they can just wait over there a minute. I need somewhere to put the painting handle again so that can go there. Okay. Where's brush for horrible jobs? I think we'll put some of this into the palette itself. Because we're going to be using such a big brush. Ooh. Ooh, I'm going to need more Abaddon Black. Since we're going to be using Citadel colours. That brush for horrible jobs can go and have a soak over there. Where did I put the kitchen towel? All the way over there. I need stretchy arms. Kitchen towel. Just plop it down there so I can reach it. So for those wondering, the difference between a wet palette and a dry palette is technically for dry brushing. Honestly, this is better than the dry palette. There is the traditional palette, which is just a little thing with knobbles in, which is something like that. That's a traditional palette. A dry palette is something like this, but it is used dry, and it's basically a super absorbent piece of kitchen towel for dry brushing. Now, I do have dry brushes, but I'm going to honestly say I use this and a bit of that. Just easier. But I also use this for drying off my brushes and all sorts. So we're just going to pop that over there while we get this nice and evenly spread onto this brush. I don't want it too thick, which is another reason for using a wet palette. Not only does it keep your paints moist for a longer period of time, it means you can close your paint pots and not waste your paints to them drying out. But you can also spread them out and get a nice even coat onto your brush so that you can brush something like this down. Now, I was originally going to airbrush this, but I'm at the point of, do I really want to go and get my air compressor out right now, make a horrible noise on stream, spray the thing, know that I need to set up near a window because I really don't want to be wearing a respirator for 3.5 hours. So once I've got things properly set up, the airbrush will be returning for the bigger models, for the much, much bigger models. But for these, I'm actually going to attempt, for the first time in many years, to paint them by hand. So this may be a terrible job, people. I warn you ahead of time. I put models together like the Titanic and DeLorean from Back to the Future and a couple of other things. Yeah, I do all kinds of minis. At the moment, though, it's Dark Angels from Horus Heresy. Ojin wants a working army up so that he can get back into the hobby, something to do to help him with his depression and anxiety. If I do join him, I myself will probably do Space Wolves because I do like the Space Vikings. But I also do Gary and Ferky. Say their names correct, please. So yeah, I will probably do Space Wolves. I also like Eldar for their purples. I think it's their vibrant colours I like. But I'm more of a Warhammer fantasy type of girl. I used to be a Wood Elves player. I don't like what they've done with it now. So I haven't played in a long time. I dropped 40k and Warhammer back in 2011 when they started going a bit doolally with their Finecast. I still hate Finecast. So you know, I love the detail. I hate the resin plastic because no paint on this planet wants to stay stuck to it. And it's also really, 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 really brittle and full of air bubbles. I also do some D&D minis when they pop up. But, you know, the biggest scale I'll go up to is probably the Land Raider style tanks from 40k. I don't like doing big models. I used to get told off at school for, they'd give me a whole piece of A4 paper and I'd take the tiniest corner and do my picture in that. I've always liked to paint and do art really, really small, and people hate me for it because they can't see it. They need magnifying glasses. Truth be told, I need magnifying glasses to see my own art. I just like doing really dainty things. I'm really into World War II things in that's a point. I haven't had one of those in ages. The last time I did anything with that was a Panzer tank, I think. Wow, and that would take me back quite a bit. I also used to do Total War, which is the Rome stuff. I am thinking about some Shogun models if anyone wants those painting. Although I'm not doing commissions yet. Wait till I get everything off the ground tax-wise, and I will start doing commissions again. Also, you know, doing Ojin's Warhammer is getting me back into painting habits. I used to be an airbrush painter, but I'm getting back into basics. So yeah, let's get painting. So yeah, I mean, if you have painting questions, feel free to ask. If I don't know them, I will point you to someone who probably knows better. Why is there a spider living on this? I haven't even started. I took you out of storage. How did you get there and make a nest in under an hour? Excuse me while I yell at the spider and then gently coax it out. Come on. Out. Out. Come on. As you can tell, I'm really not scared of spiders. I'll get rid of all that spider's nest. Honestly, leave something unattended in this house for a minute and they move in. Oh, wow, I need one of them. Never. Things on your... Oh, these? Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. Ah. Ojin, can you remember what this thing I'm wearing on my head it is? By name.
Name of it?
Yeah. It was Ojin that found it for me, actually. And it's been it means I don't have to have one of these great big magnifying glasses. And I can change these bits out. So I can have different levels if I want them. And I can just move them to where I can get them focused.
A head magnifier.
So Ojin says it's a head magnifier. And I believe...
magnifying glasses.
I'd ask him to post the link, but I know he's busy as well. But yeah, it's a professional head magnifier. You get them on Amazon. I do warn you, you do need to find the right adjustment for it to sit on your head without giving you a headache. I've discovered, for me at least, the best, thank you Ojin, the best way to wear it is to have one of those headband warmers around your head that pulls your hair back a bit. Because it gives you that little bit of a couple of centimetres of buffer to allow you to not have it too tight on your head and give you a headache. Now, can we see this? Kind of. I don't know what's gone on with this camera, but ever since an update yesterday, its zoom is now completely broken. Hang on a minute. Is that not... Oh, it is. That's okay then. I was worried that the paint wasn't sticking then. It was just running off. I was thinking, oh my goodness, am I going to have to put some hodgepodge on next? Ah! Mike, what have you done to me? It's Mod Podge. Mod Podge, not Hodgepodge. Aye. So this is hopefully just a black base coat. If I'd have known I was going to paint in black, I'd have used Chaos Black paint. Well, that bit's going to be white, that much I know. Right, finer brushes can get into there, so we won't worry too much with that. I may have watered down the paint just a little bit too much. Oops. And the reason for watering down the paint is because you don't want it too thick to take out the details. So it's probably going to take a couple of coats. Anyway, this brush can't get, I will come in with a slightly smaller brush in a minute and get it with that instead. I'm actually using a brush that is traditionally used as a dry brush to get the areas quicker and more evenly. So yeah, anyone that wants that headband, although it's not a sponsored link, the link is currently up in the chat. I don't know if it's fed over to Kick, but it is on Twitch. It's the only problem with using Restream is Kick doesn't fully support everything from Restream. Twitch kinda does. So we're not going for a perfect, what's it here? We just want a watery black. I've actually got a metallic black that I will be doing over as a wash because it's an army painter paint and they are as thin as water. Which is about as thin as I'm doing this coat as well as it happens. Actually, right, so the blades are silver. Okay. Felt the paint cracking in my mouth then. Yuck. Oh, I do apologise. The feet gets laggy. It is due to weather conditions here. We've got a bit of a blustery one in at the moment, and it tends to interfere with the power lines, which of course in turn interferes with our internet connections. And if it rains, our internet connection gets flooded because BT are terrible at planning where they're going to put their relay points around here. Our relay point is as far down the valley as you can get, and it gets all of the flood water off the roads directly into that exchange point, flooding it. You can see the problem. Yes, you can get them as glasses and all sorts. So, you know, you can get the headbands in whatever fits best for you, actually. So, yeah. Yeah, he found it by sheer chance. We were looking for brushes, and then he found it. He went, "Oh, that would be perfect for you." I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, it would." Because, you know, I'm getting old person eyes now.
Different zoom lenses, doesn't it?
It does. Let me just get that. So, yes, the headset comes with these. You get a selection of sizes. Ah. Paintbrush paint. Get off my tongue. horribleness. It also comes with its own little cleaning cloth. So I've got paintbrush on my mouth. Ugh. Right, so yeah, it comes in a range of sizes. So I believe I'm wearing the +3. Yep. I can actually... Nope, sorry, I'm wearing the +2, which I've now got to try and fit back in. It just pop in like that. Comes with its own cleaning cloth thing. Get that bloody bit of paint in a minute. So this is the +3.5, which I've just put fingerprints all over. I've got a that's the +3, +1.5, and a +1, and I'm wearing the +2.5. So yeah, you get, so it's a 1, a 5.5, a 2, a 2.5, and a 3.5. Although I've got a 3.5, which is weird. A 3 and a 3.5. Huh. Okay, somebody put the wrong ones in. Oh well, bonus. I used the 2.5 anyway. And you can just sort of adjust them to how you need them so you can get it to focus. Although it does come at a cost, especially if you're like me and you're a bit long-sighted. You lose vision about a half foot in front of you, so everything goes flying. So you'll be sort of peeping through the tops and under the edge. So if you see me doing this, it's because I'm forgetting that I can just do that. But yeah, it's one. I mean, I'm not going to promote a particular brand. You need to find the ones that work for you. If I did have a particular brand, they would have to sponsor me. But yep. So I do highly recommend that you get some kind of magnifying glass if you're into minis, especially if you've got sight problems, be it long-sighted, short-sighted, a bit of both. You know, if your eyes, for whatever reason your eyes have, because there's many reasons, that you can't really focusing on the small things without aid, magnifying glasses of some type really are a must. Still not off my tongue. There, thank you. Get off my tongue. Ick. I'm quite curious as to where the white paints come from on this. I'm having to keep a half eye on this because he's not exactly stable on his temporary base. Even though I put enough glue on there to glue down a Titan. His base is currently locked in a box because I've already assembled it and painted it. Because I did him up one from scratch. So that he can walk on rocks and have the rocks to counterbalance him and keep him in position. Because believe me, these things are a little top heavy and they love to fall over. Nothing more annoying than spending hours painting these things, topple over and watch them shatter because the glue couldn't hold them together. Yeah. And I don't know what GW's obsession is with having multiple tiny bits that are entirely unnecessary on these things. These things are huge, and you need magnifying glasses to glue them together in some parts. And then their instructions are worse than IKEA's if you rub them down with water. We glued him overnight. Yes, we did. So little fiddly bits. Yes. Oh my god, yes.
That's good for that.
This thing is absolutely great for the fiddly bit. I'm already mostly way through my Abaddon Black already. Good grief.
When you did Lion, wasn't it?
Oh, do not get me started on the Lion. As much as I loved painting that model, he was a nightmare to put together.
The detail.
Yeah. I do think Games Workshop have gone a little overboard with details where it's unnecessary. It's like having really pretty detail on the inside of your insulation. It's like, why? It's not necessary. I think my wet palette this time is just going to be black. I've had it turned to PC. I mean, if you ever saw my first video of painting, I just put some Dark Angels green on there, as in a really thick version of Dark Angels green. Left it for a couple of minutes, forgot that I'd put a load of water in, came back and the whole thing was pea soup. It was like I was opening the Harry Potter leaky cauldron menu. When I'm doing a model where I'm really, really tempted to go, you know what? Sick. I want my airbrush. Because I could get every angle of this in seconds with very little paint. I don't think my neighbours would appreciate the noise at this time of night. And with the wind, it would be a bit of a nightmare to go sit over there in the corner. And you guys wouldn't get to see it because my cameras aren't wireless. And I currently do not have a laptop. Laptop I had died very quickly because of overuse. And by overuse, I mean it had to store everything from my time of work when I was working to everything from gaming. It really did see a lot of use for a very short amount of time, and with it being what it was, it burnt out very quickly. I won't name the company. They'll probably say I'm defaming them. But I will say this much. It began with a D. Right, so we'll put you in there to soak. And we'll go get the Apple Wabadon Black again. Where did I put it? Right in front of me. See, this is what I mean. You can't see for specs. Am I going to have to put some paint thinner in there? Yeah, I might have to. Let's brush for horrible jobs. Come here. Get you cleaned off again. Even after I cleaned you off, you're still turning my nice, clean, rinse water black. It's going to be a very dark thing today, I think. Brush for horrible jobs. Let's bludge this paint out of the lid. Back onto the wet palette. So, for those wondering, Brush for Horrible Jobs are retired brushes. And by retired, I mean if you had a fine detail brush that's splayed out and it's no longer fine detail, it's now a general brush. In this case, this was once a wash brush. It's splayed out so much that it causes air bubbles in the washes. So it's become a brush for horrible jobs, which is everything from paint mixing to green stuff. Yeah, we're going to have very black water today, I think. Flickery lights. So yeah, if I disappear suddenly, it's probably because I've lost power due to weather. Or the internet cut out due to weather. So know that I'm probably okay, and if I'm not, I will be posting it up on various other things, letting you know my welfare level. I don't know if this is a named storming. Shock of horrors, I haven't checked UK weather today. I've been absolutely fascinated by the supercells going over America at the moment. So those of you in America in supercell areas, I do hope you are safe. Even my ex. So, yep. Those of us in the UK, it's brolly inside out weather. It's storm I'm sorry. The irony of that name does not escape me. As a Star Wars fan who feels very betrayed right now. Oh my goodness. Without bursting into evil cackles. This storm that's hitting us, Ojin, is Storm Kathleen. And so you know, anything with Disney we call Disneyverse, not Star Wars. And the reason for that is it's not written by George Lucas. It's not directed by George Lucas. Ergo, it's not canon, it's Disneyverse. Keep an eye on that. That's a bit wobbly. I'm not reading that out Ojin, but I agree. Not too worried if I ruin these brushes. I've had them since 2011. They're a bit run down anyway for dry brushes these days. Plus I have new dry brushes in the wings, so it's all okay. So I can abuse them with their painting. Oh my goodness. There's actually an area that didn't get... no, let's not bite that. We've already had that argument. Dampen this brush. Get some Abaddon Black and get right in there. There's an area where it's not been primed. I don't know how that's happened, considering I prime these while they're on the sprue, before they are assembled. Unless, of course, it was the white we primed it with, and then I reprimed over with green. Black seems to be sticking, so it might be primed with white. If not, I do actually have a primer hiding in my paint set. It's actually an airbrush primer. I don't rub paint on my eye while my eye itches. This is actually one of the reasons why you want two sets of brushes. One with short bristles, one with long bristles. The long bristles can get right in gaps that ones with short bristles can't. And short bristles are fantastic for detail. So that's why it's always good to have two types. Of course, you're going to find that you're going to have a brush that you use more than any other. For me, it is the size 1 general brush. I go through those like kids in a candy store eating all the candy. Mostly because I actually do models that absolutely destroy them. So yep, if you do get into mini painting, be aware you will be spending a small fortune on brushes and paints. Unless you're an airbrusher, then you'll probably just be spending it on cleaner and parts and paints. I'm not too worried about completely covering it in black because there's some of these places that are going to end up silver, so them being slightly based doesn't bother me too much. I am using the headset on my head so that my voice follows me around and you can hear what I'm saying. I was using the overhead mic yesterday for a bit, but I spent more time off so far away from it, nobody could hear me. I also apologise to those of you that may be noticing my accent shifts. I was playing Planet Zoo earlier, and there was a very Welsh accent being used. And of course, because I am formerly Welsh, I say formally, accent-wise, you can't change what you are. Obviously, you are who you are. So I may end up switching accents because I am one of these people that picks up accents, especially if it's an accent that I have been exposed to as a child. So the Yorkshire accent is another one I pick up quite quickly, and some of the Scottish accents, particularly the Dundee accent. I'm sorry, brush, you're going to have to take some abuse. You cloned it. I cloned what? Hey, Black Fox, I'm late to the party. Nah, you're fine. So what have I cloned? Wait, are you hearing me twice? Oh, do you mean accent? No, I didn't clone it. I actually originally had a Welsh accent. Welsh Yorkshire accent, actually. I used to get bullied quite a lot at school for it. By my head teacher back then, no less. He really hated my mixed accent and he would tell me to speak proper English, like the Devon accent is proper English. No offence to other Devonians, to whom I've become naturalised, but that's not proper English either. You are definitely not, ain't proper English. I'm sorry. It's almost Southern American in its sounding. In fact, the Southern American accents are probably mutations of the Devonian accent. Actually, it's like a pirate accent. You are with a slight twang to it, but I think the Southern accents in America also picked up the French twang as well. But yeah, I used to get bullied quite a lot by my teachers. Bear in mind, this is another era. If teachers did that now, they'd lose their job. Back then, they could still hit you. And that was back in the 1980s and 1990s. I'm glad to say it was put, in the 1990s, they did put a big stop to it. Corporal punishment became a thing of the past. But I am writing a memoir of my history because, I'd like to move on from my past traumas. But I'd also like people that are suffering similar traumas to know how they can themselves move forward. You don't have to stay stuck in the mantras of your abusers. I was told I would amount to nothing from a young age just because of my accent. And then they discovered I had dyslexia on top, and it was just a nightmare. Instead of teaching me, they would just renegade me to the back of the class and call me the troubled child. troubled because they wanted me to do things I couldn't understand because they wouldn't explain it to me. They were bad teachers. I'm sorry. A child that can't recognize numbers because of dysgraphia, which is it's now named, which is where writing on a piece of paper won't stay still. And I would ask, what is it that could they explain the task to me? They wouldn't. They would just say, go look it up. Or if I needed the spelling to a word I'd never encountered before but knew how to say, go look it up in the dictionary. Okay, how's that going to help a child with what was just then, generically dyslexia? It's now dysgraphia, dyslexia, dyscalculia, a whole host of other things actually on top. I think there's even... we call it the DIS family. It's a group of learning disabilities, often interconnected, sometimes not at all interconnected, depends on the person. They just decided I was the troubled child, and that was it. I was written off. And that's not to say all my teachers back then were awful. Some of them were not. Some of them were absolute godsends. But some... well, two in particular actually were just evil, and they even encouraged my peers to bully me as well. So my peers ended up becoming the victims of a child who was frustrated and fed up with being bullied, acting out. Now I'm sure you know how children of the age of 4 and 8 can act out, and it can be quite violent. So my classmates were quite often the victims of me becoming a reactive person to try and stop the bullying, because that's how I thought it worked, because grown-ups weren't much use to me back then. I'd learned I couldn't trust grown-ups. That the slightest thing could set me off because I'd learnt to react instead of problem solve. So I do feel sorry for my back then classmates because they had to survive that themselves. But equally, some of them were bullies. And I hope that they've learnt that what they did as kids was just evil. But I want them to know, if they ever do tune into this, I forgive them. They were horrible times. It was a different era. And I hope that becoming an adult has taught them just how terrible life can really be. I learnt it from a young age. And by terrible, I don't mean that they had to experience it firsthand. I mean that they just realised, or they became enlightened. I remember it from Halo. There was both victims and bullies. The Halo incident. I'm never gonna. I always remember that. That one guy that was picking on me because I was a girl gamer and I was British. Like, how dare someone with a different accent and be female be playing Halo? And he says to me, and I remember Shio, Duo, and the rest of the gang being there, as we're in the middle of our base on Blood Gulch. Oh, sorry, Coagulated, as it was then called. Middle of our base, I was guarding the flag. He comes over, he hits me in the back, because that was an instant kill on Halo, and he says, go back to your own country. After hours of racial and gender targeted abuse. And he wondered why I died in giggle fits. At that very moment, he said, go back to your own country. And I was like, what, dude? You think only America has the internet? I'm in the UK. And of course, the Canadian, the other Americans, and everyone else laughed. But that guy became the target of us from that point on. We left the rest of his team alone and just made sure that he had a terrible game thereafter. We responded to him as making him the first one we'd snipe, the first one we'd assassinate, The first one we'd hit with the flag, and all the other ways you can possibly have to respawn in Halo. That was so funny. No, I don't think I had a Welsh accent during Halo. I think I picked up the Yorkshire accent again during Halo, if it was 2005-ish. Because all the Yorkshire family had been down due to sad circumstances that I won't go into. But, yeah, I'd re-picked up the northern accent from that side of the family. Or that part of the family, I should say. Because a lot of that side of the family also reside in Wales. Yeah, so I think it was the Warthog on the other side of the map looking after their flag. Yeah, I think I blew that up with the Wraith twice. Not the Wraith. Scorpion. Oh, grief, I'll get my human, my Covenant weapons the right way round. If it wasn't the Scorpion, I was definitely in the Banshee. If I wasn't in that, I was definitely holding the rocket launcher. Or the shotgun. But yeah, we made sure that he knew that bullying other players based on their gender and location was not a good thing to do. I'd have had no issue with him otherwise. I wouldn't have cared. I could deal with the then harassment I was getting. Oh, you're a girl. How dare a girl be playing a boys' game? Oh, wait, what? There's boys' games? Wow. So what am I supposed to be doing? Combing hair of Barbies? Wow. Sorry, not all girls are into that. Some of us actually like what are considered stereotypically boy things. We're called tomboys. And even then, you know, people should just enjoy stuff. It shouldn't really be gender based, this or that. It should just be just entertainment and be done with it. The only reason I used to like boys stuff is because it was rebellious. I was told that girls couldn't do this, girls couldn't do that. You're a girl, you're not allowed to do this, so I'd do it out of spite. Girls aren't allowed to climb trees. Climb a tree. Girls aren't supposed to roll around in mud and make bases. Okay, roll around in mud and make bases. It was out of spite back then, I have to admit. Of course, it didn't help that in my age group there were only 2 girls. We were best friends for a while, then we weren't. That's how life goes. And yeah, that meant all I had to play with was boys. There were a lot of boys in my village at that time. So yeah, it was either play with the boys or be really, 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 really bored. And that's before we get into my aunt trying to give me an exorcism because I refused to play with Cindy dolls and Barbie. Oh yeah, how dare I not be girly? Boys had dolls as well. They were called Action Man. Yes, yes, they were. I mean, when the guy told you to go back to your, when the guy told you to go back, I was just told to babysit the flag, so I was in the warthog, hiding behind the rock up the. Oh yeah, I remember that. We told you to keep annoying them with the flag so we could flush him out. Yes, if I have beef with you in a game, you will become my target. I was a very, very mean Halo player. I also remember that one time I used my feminine wiles as well. That was funny. That was really funny. Duo, Shio, and Kilo here were in on it. walking into the middle of the base and saying just 4 words. And I had all of the enemy team trying to get my name, number, and address. And that allowed the rest of them to get in and, let me see. All right, steal their flag, win the game, such and such. Yes, I weaponized my gender. That's what we did. That is honestly the power us girls do have. And we need to recognize that. And yes, that does actually include people that have become female despite birth gender of birth. If you know how to flaunt yourself, you have the same power. Heck, guys do, especially if they've got a well-toned body.
That's what you want, isn't it?
Yep.
To be mine.
Just
forever.
Like Neil Newborn puts it there as Asterion. What's the redeem to throw things at Ojin? It was that one, but I don't have anything currently to throw at him. I really don't want to throw my one and only paint sponge at him. It'll get covered in cat hair. And then I won't be able to use it as a paint sponge because I'll be getting cat hair on everything. Out of curiosity, while you're here, Dommy, is Demonologist working for you, or is it just as laggy and broken for you too? Because a lot of us can't get on the new map. What I might do is I might find a spongy D20 that I can keep throwing at him. Yeah, I was on it this afternoon and I kept loading in under the map. It was a little bit annoying. Ojin couldn't load it at all. Actually, was that Dommy that redeemed that one? Because I've purposely turned off the sound alert thing on my multi-chat so that you guys have a half chance of getting me with the jump scare. And I say half chance because unfortunately Demonologist has immunized me to jump scares. Although, to be fair, I am notoriously the hardest person to jump scare. Maybe make me deaf, but not jump scare. Grimsy, you want to check yours. That was Dom's for that one. What? Oh, I think for the Asterian one, for the reclaim of that. Really would like this one to last just a little longer than that. I'm back on League of Legends. I don't blame you. Haven't really been able to get back into that myself, but you know, when I did play it for a little while, it was fun. I'm doing it with the job brush for horrible jobs because, well, if I keep on with the one, I'm going to splay it out again after we just repaired it. So I'd rather do a brush that's already damaged and force the paint in that way. Damn MXR, I have lost 175 bucks and lost all avenue. Yep. Honestly, with some of the stuff he was doing, I'm surprised it took this long to happen. It's not that I don't feel sorry for him. He's been having a right hard time of it. But he's just not careful enough. And I hate to say it, if it's on YouTube, YouTube is a bit racist towards Asians. So, yeah. MXR needs to find another way of making revenue, like Patreon, so that he can get his revenue from his members rather than relying on the rubbish that is the other platforms who just look to rip off their users at every given opportunity. And yes, I do count Twitch among that. Telling us we get 50% of our membership revenue when we don't. Life as a streamer and a content creator is actually pretty darn difficult. One of the reasons I will not be relying on it when I finally get myself sorted as a source of income. Speaking of, I'm thinking about designing a line of t-shirts for the Lone Wolf Clan where proceeds will go to charity. See already Houseblade job brush for horrible jobs has got them doing this. I'm glad I'm not using my one now. Themes on Etsy. Sell like hot. Oh, they really do, yeah. I'm not 100% a fan of Etsy, but Etsy does have its uses. That would be one of them. Only reason I'm not 100% fan of Etsy is they don't monitor properly for con artists. And not that I could say that Amazon do much either, but at least they've got a better thing in place to discourage and dissuade and remove. I hope that's not one of our bins blowing over out there again. Well, speaking of which, it's bin day tonight, isn't it? Oh, brush. It may have lived a little longer, but today, nah. It's probably going to get denoted from horrible jobs to awful jobs after this. Oh dear. Yes, the poor brushes do get retired down in stages until they just can't be paintbrushes anymore and they're nothing more than the stick that once had bristles. I can think about it. I think we did this one in green because we ran out of black. Or white, or both. Oh, we're getting there. Slowly. Hates bin days because they don't collect large furniture. Yeah. You have to get large furniture collections. Most local authorities will do that. 30% of all payments on Etsy. Okay. I'm gonna have to back read a bit here. Excuse me. Okay. Seems like his friend conned him out of X amount of ad revenue. Was because she wanted to play button and they basically shrieked themselves. I hate bin days because they don't take large furniture. It's 30% take of all payments on Etsy. They give us skip every 3 months and they empty. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. You know, Doms, I thought about that for mine with a skip. There used to be a time when all local authorities would go to a community and drop a skip of varying sizes to the communities, dependent on the community needs, once every year. And I'm sad to say, I think it was around 95 in most places in the UK, they stopped doing it. Funny enough, that was under a Tory government. What a coincidence. And now those same people that stopped it complain about certain housing estates looking like trash heaps. Well, you made it so that the people that couldn't afford to get rid of large furniture for the extortionate prices had nowhere to put their large goods that they now had to accumulate in gardens and driveways because they don't have the money to get rid of them. Loose bristle. I knew that was going to start happening. Oh, sorry, camera. Sorry, people, for the earthquake camera. Just pulling out a rogue bristle that's just come off the brush and got stuck into the paint. Kind of expected that to start happening with the amount of painting abuse this poor brush is taking. How did that get missed? I've painted that bit about 4 times. Is that an area that might not be primed, I wonder? Yeah. I really don't like how this arm's wobbling. It's like it's not connected properly somewhere. I'm surprised if that pops off. Probably not enough glue on it. That can happen, especially on these bigger models. Right, let him dry for now. When they switched to social housing as separate item compared to where it would be yeah, but we actually still have council estates here. So we've got social housing and council estates, and even then, the council used to do it for the whole village. And some social houses will actually do it as well. It just depends on your housing association and if they're skinflints or not. Or if they're like mine and waste money on completely pointless projects. Right. While that one's drying, let's have a look at Praetor here. Oh, he's mostly black as well, isn't he? Okay. That can go over there a minute. That's going to need to come here for a minute. And I can see I'm going to need to get the stick out to do his head. Alright, so we need the decent snips. There. I might keep a part of that on so I can use it as a glue platform. Oh my. Okay. A pair of snips. I'll put those over here for now. Oh, good, it didn't dry like I was worried it was going to do. Come on. Or did it? Back from cell phone. Or was it phone call? Welcome back. Temporary gluing him to a temporary stand. He will not be staying on that stand. That's why I kept some of the sprue on him. Because that will allow me to lift him off later properly. Oh, I think we sprayed him with the lumpy one, didn't we? Oh, I just... somehow managed to spray spider web or something onto this one. Not quite sure how that happened. Just waiting for him to dry to his base. But looking at how this paint has gone on this one, I think it was the spray can that had not very well mixed primer.
Yeah, use the black. That black or the white.
No, this was the grey one that was. Remember, it came out in splatters of dry paint. I'm so glad I've got these in front of my eyes right now because that would have gone in my eyeballs. Get some primer in a minute. I think it's in this. Yeah, I can see it. All right, it's in the Citadel paint box. Why I like my glasses. Easy to protect. Yeah. You've only been in 10 seconds, Cat, and you're already going back out. So for those wondering, there you go. It's surface primer. Can't remember what make this one was. It's Vallejo. There we are. So that's a Vallejo, one of my few airbrushes paints I've got around here somewhere. But yes, you can use this like a normal paint. Daub it on a wet palette. You don't need a lot of it because obviously it is actually designed for airbrushes. Just put that down there for now so it's safe. Need a half. I will use brush for horrible jobs. Those areas the primer couldn't get when I sprayed it. It's going to be black anyway, so it's good to have it. Have a look at our big dreadnought in a minute. See if that area that I think might not be primed needs it again. So that can go over there and dry now. Yeah. So I now have reason to believe that that may not be primed. So everywhere I've already painted about 8 times has gone back to being white. That's definitely a sign it wasn't primed. There we go. That's better. Since I'm not working with metallics at the moment, I'm not too worried about cross-contamination. Right. You're still not ready. Okay, this glue's taking a while. For a glue that's supposed to be taking 30 seconds, doesn't half take a while. Yeah, you stay there and dry. We'll just pretend you don't exist now for about an hour. So we were going to start on this one. But apparently the glue doesn't want to behave, so we're just going to stick it over there and ignore and pretend it doesn't exist. Right. Meanwhile, we'll just reprime areas that look like they need a bit of priming. Oh, fleck. Look at that one. I'm not fully painting properly. I have used... Okay. I check in and out cat. Yeah, she's a yo-yo cat today. It seems when it's stormy weather, she gets really weird. Put some more Abaddon black up to this. Make it a little bit darker. Ah, she's come back in again. Hey. Hopefully that'll find the place is not primed and stay primed. You can see how messy this blade brush can be here, look. Its head's okay, that can stay in its box. Oh, yeah. Right, so we're waiting for the black to dry on that one so we can get on with the next bits. Let's have a look at this guy. Hate it when the glue, I don't know how it does it, but it turns into like little white mushrooms no matter how little you put in, and it crystallizes around the feet and ruins all your good work. Do a few highlights with this stuff now, just so it gives it a more rocky, natural feel. I have used that as a mix for metallic paint. You can actually get metallic primers if you really need that. Although Verlergia do a huge range of metallic paints. It just depends what you need your paint for, I guess. It's already got spiderweb dust on it. Yeah, he just needs a couple of highlights and he's done, but I don't want to work with the colours because I do have currently very dark water. Yeah, with rocks, the urge to go completely perfectionist is something you must try and learn to avoid as well. Rocks, brick, stonework. You need to be random. Nature's random. Let your rocks be random. Yeah, you can actually see the sword on there now. If I bring it up. Couldn't see it very well yesterday. Now you can, so it's coming up nicely. My raspberry and aloe vera drink. Absolutely great for the voice when you're streaming. We will let that dry, and then I will try and glue Coursewane to his base so I have a better means of handling him. Right, so let's bring out the big thing again. He should be dryish by now, mostly. Okay, so colour code time to look at. We're probably going to be working with metallics. Yep, we are. So that. Where's the book gone? There it is. Ugh. The Codex. I feel like a chapter master right now. If I can get the book the right way up. So, his claw is red and silver. His gun is non-existent. So, the claw is on this one, isn't it? The other claw. Ugh. Checked. You want a black and red one for the claw as well?
Black and red. Rusty for the drill bits.
Right, so we want rust and mud on the drills. Black and red for the main bit where the pincers attach. And then the actual pincers and drills themselves are metallic. Right. Oof. Okay, well, there's the metallic. Here we go, folks. Just going to change up my music. It's getting a bit too chilled and it's making me sleepies. I do not want to be sleepies. Ah, now. That's more like it. The folk tales of Giri and Freki and Garm. That Kilo Direct new arc on the Game Pass. Okay. Or we could accidentally drop him on his side. Yep. As long as he doesn't come off his base. Or break into bits. Going to jump off and get an early start tomorrow. Have a good evening. Alright, stay safe, stay well, have a good evening and good night, Lone Wolf. Thanks for popping by. Thicker than I'd have liked. Corpus really isn't going to survive this model, I don't think. Oh, she knows again. So his guns are gold as well. Okay. It's going to be lots of fun. It was becoming lumpy on the brush, so that had to come off. Another hair bristle that got stuck into the paint there while I was base coating it because it was dried into the black layer. Probably not going to go all the way to midnight tonight. I mean, it depends how engrossed I get in my painting. Only on the grounds that I have got a housing inspection tomorrow and I need to be up early for that. They're coming at around 8, so I need to try and go to sleep around 11:30 so that my body will wake up in time. Yeah. I mean, if I get engrossed in my painting and I lose track of time, well, but kind of my own fault. I just felt I should mention it given as it's 4 minutes past 10. I meant to mention it earlier, but forgot. Such is the curse of ADHD. You remember things at random times. Often at quite irrelevant times sometimes. I mean, the inspection was supposed to be today, but the guy that does the inspections had to be at two different ends of the country on the same day, so he would have had to have come here, and then his other housing inspection that he was going to do in a completely opposite end of the country, he would have had to have been here 5 minutes and then gone if he had any hope of getting there before 5. So he rung me up this morning and asked if it would be okay if he could come tomorrow so he could put all of his Southwest appointments in one basket so he didn't have to travel multiple places across the country and that just to come back down the following day. And I agreed to that since the other houses are just up the road from me. I was like, yeah, you know what? That actually makes sense. Come see me tomorrow instead. He sounded really quite relieved. I'm not being overly accurate with my silver at the moment because I've got to go back over with the Abaddon Black anyway. Catch all the places it's missed. And obviously I'm trying to be as accurate as I can be, but I'm not too worried about missteps. Let's paint on those bristles now. Not going to worry about those metallic bits for the minute because we're going to be doing a lot of painting over that area. I'm already starting the prawn. Got to keep training my back out of that. Trying to train it into being a proper back to stop me getting the osteoporosis hump, but when you're a painter you do the prawn, which just aggravates the situation. Knowing me, I'm probably going to get an earful from my doctor. Ah. See where that spider didn't make its little nest. I've got some areas of black to repaint because I can see a lot of green. I'll let the metallics dry up first and then I'll get in there. I'm going to be moving to the brighter colours, which I really don't want to do while I've got a whole bunch of darker colours knocking about, not to mention the metallics. Ah, good. Right. I put the there. Now, if you're wondering why I mixed that Abaddon Black into the primer, because there's actually some parts of this model where it looks like the primer's either chipped off or missed altogether, so it was just going to be advantageous to just have an Abaddon Black primer. Although that said, the model still seems to be rejecting the primer, despite having a warm soapy scrub for over an hour beforehand. The problem I've been finding with Citadel lately is paints do not want to take to their resins. I'm actually of the opinion that whoever decides the resin should be made to paint them first, so that they can make better decisions on resin. If this fails to take after this, I will be putting it into some knee cleaner and hopefully getting whatever is causing this off. But we shall see. Yeah. Yes, this would be coincidentally why I haven't glued his shield on yet. Sometimes it's actually in your interest to only part assemble them, for the sake of getting into places that are otherwise impossible to reach. And the reason I'm repainting this in black is because unfortunately quite a bit of his cloak doesn't appear to have gotten as much primer as it needs. The idea was to have his cloak be white underneath, but I think we might go for a different colour, like a dark green. What with his armour being black and everything. It's going to need something to symbolise from Caliban. You're playing some Blood Bowl, okay. He has me painting his armies while he plays Blood Bowl. I need to do a 40k version of Blood Bowl. That would be hilarious. No, it needs to be Blood Bowl with 40k and fantasy Warhammer. Maybe here to get a little bit of better light. hair in the eye. Yeah, right. Unused brush. Only time you'll see me licking the bristles, folks. Oh, don't you start now, hands. Oh, there they go. Never mind. Luckily, I'm going to do another paint of black over in a minute, but I wanted to get the really bright green eyes in. And so you can get some ideas. They're not perfect, but I don't know if you can really see. You can sort of see them. But yeah, paint's kind of come out of where it's not supposed to, so they are a bit bigger than I'd like them to be. But I'll be going over that again with some Abaddon black, and I'll take out all the mistaky green bits. That green is pretty runny. So it's Mephiston red I want. You are being stalked by a little meep. We're talking about cats, if you're wondering. Let that head dry. Unless they vet it. Oh, grief. Wriggle out of the prawn again. Occurs to me you forgot to phone a certain person today. Better give him a buzz tomorrow evening. Nope, wrong one. Nah, there it is. We'll be getting into the brighter colours, so we're going to be doing yellows, reds, whites and silver. But I'm going to be calling it a night night, so that'll be for another night then. So I will see you Saturday, hopefully, for the usual gaming challenge day. We'll be going back to Witcher for this Saturday. As last week, weekend before last was a special occasion. In that Dragon's Dogma 2 had just launched and we wanted to get that so we could all have a look at how that played. Me and Ojin are currently putting together quite a lengthy video where we're going to be discussing the pros, cons, improvements and bad points. As I've said before, I do warn that it is going to be a critical review, but remember, this doesn't mean we think it's a bad game. It's just that we don't believe in giving empty platitudes. So, you know, we're going to be right. Okay. So we don't believe in empty platitudes. So when it comes to Dragon's Dogma 2, we're going to be going quite in depth, comparing it with its predecessor, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, about the bits we think they've done badly in Dragon's Dogma 2 and which things we think they might have improved in. So we're not going to be, you know, so critical that we're not going to mention the good stuff. We will be mentioning the good stuff, but unfortunately, that, like I said, there's a lot to cover. And as we're playing through it and we're going through our new game pluses now, we're finding more bads than goods, sadly. Do I think a lot of those bads could have been avoidable? Yes, because a lot of those bads are actually bugs. So we will be going through that. I will be trying to capture game footage of what we're talking about at the time we're doing it. So it will have little clips so that you can show, so I can show you and you can understand what's going wrong with it. Because again, it's not a bad game, but it is a game with bad points. There is no such thing as a perfect game. We all know that. But it will be a critical review. So I want people to know that. And the super fanboys out there that only do sycophantery, don't bother wasting your time, because if you're going to start with the hate and stuff in comments, we will just delete your comments and shadow ban you. So be aware of that. We don't put up with nonsense. So yes, we will be doing it. It's a case of, it's not bad to be fanboy, but if you're a true fan, you know when you need to be saying critical things, because it's this little thing called critical feedback. And critical feedback is important for making improvements, because it tells you where you're going wrong so that you can correct that wrong and go, yay, okay, let's make it better next time. Or if it's a bug, that's something that can be fixed in present, then you can fix that. I'm not expecting perfection, but I am expecting some level of professionalism. Some of the bad points, though, as I will discover, you will discover, it's me going into the microtransactions. While they aren't game altering per se, to a certain degree, there is something to do with teleporting, which I will get into. And let's not forget the resurrection. While you can acquire them in game, my God, are they expensive in game? They actually make it painful, and I will go into that, into the deep end of that. So we will be doing a critical review, but as I said, it will be covering the good and the bad and the areas of improvement and the areas where they got it right. So it will be, as they call, a ossic sandwich. And those of you that have been around me long enough by now should know what the word ossic means. So yeah, I will see you Saturday, because we're now not doing the Fright Night Friday, owing to the fact that both mine and Ojin's Demonologist cannot run the new map, because we did a pre-stream run of it today to see if we could at least round up on the bugs, because if there were the bugs, I would have been reporting those, but we can't even get the game to play, so yeah. Well, it plays, it's just unplayable. It's too laggy, you can't do anything, so that won't be me doing Fright Night Fridays now. Grimsy might be, so be sure to go check out his channel. I don't know if Kilo will be joining him. Because everyone seems to be having reasons to not commit to what they said they were going to commit to, because life's like that. So yep, so be sure to go pop over onto Grimsy's channel, and I'm not quite sure what he'll be playing, but I know it'll be horror game related, so do pop over to him and go check him out. And I will see you Saturday for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. We will try and get through that. And then Sunday, it will be Random Games Night, where I am going to pick a random game in my playlist to play. As I don't have a video capture card at the moment, I can't catch some of the older games you might want to see. Hey, I had a clear on Twitch events list. Okay, whatever, like I said, Kilo, life is just gonna life, okay? So, yeah. See you Saturday for Witcher 3, and Sunday for Random Games Night, and hopefully next Wednesday and Thursday at 8 PM-ish, painting. It all depends what's going to be going on in the background, what DWP stuff I have to be doing, what legal stuff I might be needing to do, medical stuff, and other things, because life is chaos right now. And I'm not the only one that it is chaos for, as Kilo can attest to, because it's chaos for him too at the moment. So yes, our streams are going to be a little bit erratic, but I am going to try and keep weekends on track at the very least. Randoms game nights, just so folks know, could also include painting, because we do consider tabletop stuff gaming. It will depend how I'm feeling, what mood I'm in, and what games I've got. And I've got a few games I would like to showcase, which is why I have it there. Kilo says he hates my knee. Kilo, Wait another 5 years and you're going to hate your whole body. Everything that pops hurts times 10. And if it hurt before, times 10 on top of that. Yes, it's called getting older, folks. I know, but you're going to hate it more. Talking as someone that's already up here into the life, the universe, and everything being the answer to it. Yes, I know, folks, I don't look my age. The secret is staying out of sunlight, by the way. So, yeah. Okay, see you all on the weekend. Kilo, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And then even if I would do it, double check if it's good for you. Okay, I'll see you all soon, folks. When I find the right screen, that is. There it is. Right. Have fun with Kong. So they're outgoing movies, yeah. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And even if I would do it, check that you're not going to get injured from it. See you later, folks.